In the heart of an enchanted forest, nestled among towering ancient trees, lay the hidden village of the elves. This wasn't just any village. It was a place of shimmering light and whispered magic, where every flower hummed with a gentle song, and in this village lived a young woman named Linda, whose kindness was as radiant as the morning sun. Her laughter was said to make the roses bloom brighter, and her songs could soothe the most restless of spirits. Linda was cherished by all the elves, who saw her not just as a friend, but as the very soul of their peaceful home. But a shadow loomed over this idyllic world. Far from the village, in a dark, imposing fortress of jagged black stone, lived the evil king. His heart was as cold and hard as the granite of his castle walls. He despised beauty and joy, and the news of Linda's happiness reached him like a bitter poison. He craved to possess all that was good and snuff it out, and so he set his sights on Linda. He believed that by capturing her, he could steal the light from the elven village and plunge the entire forest into his own miserable darkness. The king's cruelty was legendary, and his power was formidable, drawn from ancient, forbidden spells. One fateful evening, as twilight painted the sky in shades of purple and gold, the king enacted his wicked plan. He rode into the elven village on a nightmare steed, its eyes burning like embers. Dark magic swirled around him, withering the flowers and silencing the forest's song. The elves, peaceful by nature, were no match for his malevolent power. With a cruel laugh, the king seized Linda. He ignored her pleas and the desperate cries of the elves, locking her away in the highest tower of his enchanted castle, a place from which no one had ever escaped. The tower was wrapped in thorns of shadow and guarded by spells that twisted the very air around it. Back in the now somber village, the elves were heartbroken. The light seemed to have dimmed, and a heavy silence fell where laughter once echoed. But elves are not ones to surrender to despair. They knew they couldn't fight the king's dark magic on their own. They needed help from beings even older and more magical than themselves. So they gathered the last of their courage and journeyed deep into the Whispering Woods, to a secret glade bathed in moonlight. This was the sacred home of the fairies, the tiny, powerful guardians of the forest's deepest magic. The fairies, with wings like stained glass and eyes sparkling with ancient wisdom, listened gravely to the elves' sorrowful tale. The queen of the fairies, her voice like the chime of silver bells, declared that such cruelty would not stand. Linda's light was a part of the forest's lifeblood, and they would not let it be extinguished. The fairies weren't warriors in the traditional sense. Their power was not of brute force, but of cleverness, nature, and light. They began to weave a plan, not of attack, but of rescue. They gathered moonbeams in crystal vials, collected morning dew that held the memory of sunlight, and whispered to the ancient trees, calling upon their strength. Their magic was a tapestry of hope, woven thread by delicate thread. The fairies' first move was to breach the castle's defenses. A squadron of the swiftest fairies, led by a brave one named Flicker, flew towards the fortress. The castle was surrounded by a thick, thorny briar, a creation of the king's black magic that instantly repaired itself. But the fairies didn't try to cut through it. Instead, they sprinkled the thorns with the collected morning dew. As the sun-kissed dew touched the dark magic, the thorns recoiled, not withering, but momentarily softening and parting, creating a small, shimmering tunnel. It was just wide enough for the tiny rescuers to slip through, their wings beating silently as they passed into the castle grounds. Inside, the castle was a labyrinth of cold stone and eerie silence, patrolled by guards made of living shadow. These guards were formless and terrifying, immune to any physical weapon. But the fairies had a different kind of weapon, light. As the shadow guards approached, the fairies released the moonbeams from their vials. Pure, concentrated moonlight shot out, and the shadow creatures hissed and dissolved, unable to exist in such radiant purity. The fairies moved like whispers through the dark halls, their combined light a beacon of hope clearing the path, neutralizing the king's dark sentinels one by one without a single sound. Finally, they reached the base of the highest tower where Linda was held captive. The door was a massive slab of enchanted iron, sealed with a lock that had no keyhole, only a glowing, sinister rune that pulsed with dark energy. This was the king's most powerful seal. Brute force was useless. The fairy queen herself, having traveled with her subjects, stepped forward. She didn't touch the door. Instead, she began to hum a soft, ancient melody, the very first song of the forest, a tune of creation and life. The other fairies joined in, their voices creating a harmony of pure life, affirming magic. The beautiful, powerful chorus of the fairies washed over the dark rune. The king's magic, born of hate and emptiness, could not withstand the sheer force of life and creation in the fairies' song. The sinister glow of the rune flickered, sputtered, and then died out completely. With a deep, groaning sound, the enchanted iron door swung open. There, at the top of a winding staircase, was Linda. She was pale and frightened, but her spirit was not broken. Seeing the host of tiny, glowing fairies, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude and wonder. But their escape was not yet complete. The king, sensing his spells being broken, was now aware of the intrusion. His roars of fury echoed through the castle. The fairies knew they had to be quick. They couldn't simply fly out. The king would surely stop them. So they turned to their final, most wondrous piece of magic. They gathered around Linda, and with a final, unified chant, they transformed her, not into a fairy, but into 1,000 golden butterflies. A breathtaking cloud of shimmering wings erupted in the grim tower room. The king burst in just in time to see the cloud of golden butterflies flutter past him, out the high window and into the night sky. He roared in frustration, trying to catch them with his dark magic, but how could he catch 1,000 tiny individual specks of light? It was impossible. He was left alone in his empty tower, his power thwarted by the cleverness and unity of the forest's smallest protectors. The cloud of butterflies flew across the dark lands, a river of gold under the moon, all the way back to the elven village. As they flew over the heart of the village, the butterflies swirled together, descending in a vortex of light. On the spot where they landed, Linda reappeared, whole and safe, her clothes seeming to be woven from golden light. A joyous cheer erupted from the elves, a sound so loud and happy it sent ripples of warmth through the entire forest. The flowers, which had drooped in sadness, instantly perked up, their colors more vibrant than ever before. Linda was home. The magic of the fairies had not only saved her, but had also renewed the spirit of the village. From that day on, the bond between the elves and the fairies was stronger than ever, a testament to the truth that, even in the face of the greatest darkness, the combined power of hope, cleverness, and friendship can create a light that can never be extinguished.